fuck is he, Michael Cole? Who is he? He's the big dog. I tell you, man, what a huge week for Roman Reigns. He starts off the week winning the Universal Championship. He then reunites the Shield, and then Forbes breaks the news that his merchandise is now the #1 seller in all of WWE. Somebody has finally knocked the king off his throne. Somebody has finally overtaken John Cena. And his name is Roman Reigns. All the boos, everything we've wanted to fight against Vince McMahon, to turn him heel, all of it. Vince McMahon stood his ground, and Roman Reigns is making them a boatload of money. I was always under the impression that it's because Roman Reigns just has the most merchandise, and because they push him more than anyone else, people are obviously going to gravitate to that merchandise. But not necessarily the case. There was many websites that published the top 10 superstars that have the most merchandise. This was done, I believe it was concluded in July, so just a couple of months ago. And the #1 WWE superstar that has the most merchandise, I believe it was 55 items. Again, this may have changed over the last 8 weeks. But just a couple of months ago, 55 items was AJ Styles. And you look at AJ Styles, he is the champion over there on SmackDown. He's the other heavyweight champion. He's got 55 items compared to Roman's, I believe at the time, 50 to 51 items. We cheer AJ Styles vigorously. We love AJ Styles. We, the diehard fans, say he is the best in the world. We're dedicated, we're passionate, yet we're not showing up in droves to buy the merchandise. So we can say Vince is just too old. He's not a genius anymore. He's lost touch. He's this, he's that. Maybe there's a spark of truth in all of it. Maybe not. Maybe he knows what he's doing all along. We'll never know. But what I will say is he stood his ground by the diehard fans like myself, by our tallies, by our research, by our way of thinking. AJ Styles should be the #1 merchandise seller. He's got the most items. He's the one we all love. He's the one we cheer vigorously for. But it's Roman. Roman Reigns is the one to top John Cena. So then you could dissect it even more. Yeah, but it's because Roman is literally in the main event, like the last match of the night, so he's portrayed in a different way. Yes, but if we're booing him as vigorously as we are, and that's supposed to translate in really not liking the guy or not buying his shit, then it wouldn't affect the numbers for merchandise. Because the boos are so loud. So it doesn't matter where you put him on the card, nobody's going to buy his shit. But that's false. Fans, if you're like me, we've wanted to see Roman Reigns turn heel from day one because we felt that's where he was going to shine the brightest and we could really find out who he is. Just like we asked them to do with The Rock. When they were trying to force us Rocky Maivia, this happy-go-lucky guy that we weren't buying the bullshit, we said, die, Rocky sucks. And the reason was we needed him to turn heel so we could really see who The Rock was. And that's when The Rock was created. And he never looked back and we never looked back. We knew there was a mutual fucking love there. We were trying to bring out the best out of this kid. It's what we wanted to see from John Cena for 10 to 15 years. And John Cena wouldn't do it because he wanted to be the Make-A-Wish guy. John Cena wanted to be the superhero, the ultimate good guy. So for 15 years, we had to sit it out while John Cena played the big fucking half boos, half cheers guy, but he's always going to be the ultimate good guy. And what happens is the business suffers, man. You can't really build stars around that. You can't really build epic feuds and epic stories. And what happened for 10 to 15 years, guys? Not a lot of stars were created around John Cena, were they? Exactly. Not a lot of epic feuds that we can remember in the last 10 years, correct? Exactly. 10 to 15 years. A few sprinkled here and there. Nothing what it should have been in pro wrestling in the WWE for 15 years. We should have pages of ultimate feuds and stories. We don't. John Cena put his own personal shit in front of business when the business could have exploded because of a heel turn. I remember Hulk Hogan at the Bash of the Beach joining the NWO, and that sent shockwaves around the professional wrestling industry. Now, I'm not saying John Cena turning heel would have been that ultimate. It was a different time. John Cena wasn't as the star that Hulk Hogan was or ever will be, obviously. But it would have sent shockwaves nonetheless. But Cena never did it. So then Roman comes around. And now we automatically sense the 50-50 cheer boo response. So we're like, oh no, we don't want to do this again for 15 years. Please, Vince, just turn him heel. And then we saw what was happening. Vince learned from John Cena, as Melty Boy would say, and he doesn't need to turn him full throttle heel. If the money was there every single year, every quarterly that they do, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, John Cena's name was at the top for merchandise sales. When they did the surveys and they asked the fans that were going to live events who you hear mostly to see, it was always John Cena. Now the surveys is always Roman Reigns. Now the number one merchandise seller is always Roman Reigns. So where am I going with all this? As much as I stand by what I've said when I started this channel, Roman has to turn heel for fans like me to really see who he really is. For him, as a character and as a performer, he needs to eventually go heel. I stand by that. But I will be the first to say that I was miserably wrong in thinking that he would not succeed by Vince McMahon forcing that narrative upon us. Because he is thriving. And it shows you that fans like me, who people call smart fans, and they're, again, people throw that word around, smart and smart fan, like we're supposed to, like that's supposed to zing us. That's supposed to hurt our feelings. Smart fan. What that means is we're the smarter marks. We are the smart people. We know the ins and outs. We know the backstage shit that's going on. We have people inside the business. We have people that we know that are professional wrestlers. But our crowd, and maybe not even the smarts or the smart fans, but just diehard wrestling fans, we all wanted one thing. We all were pushing our own narrative with the boos. But it shows you that that is a different base than who is showing up at the live events. A different base than who is at home on their computer going to WWEshop.com, and when they order, they're ordering that Roman Reigns merchandise. It's the diehard fans that are showing up to the television events, to the pay-per-views. In those big cities, especially New York City, Chicago. And those boos are ultra loud. Over in Philadelphia. But you go to those house shows, the boos are a lot less. Those cheers are very fucking vivid. So in this video, I come at you and I admit I was wrong. I never thought, because I saw so many people trying to get this guy over. Brock Lesnar a million times. The Rock, his own fucking cousin. They sacrificed the Rock appearance in Philadelphia at Royal Rumble to hold Roman Reigns' arm up in the air. And Royal Rumble went off the air to a course of nothing but boos. Loudest I've ever heard. Vocal boos. And The Rock's eyes said it all. He was fucking shocked at the boos when the Royal Rumble went off the air. And if you're a fan like me, that's contagious. Because we feed off the live crowd because they are actually inside the atmosphere. So when they're cheering vividly, we're at the edge of our seat because we know something cool and exciting has happened. When they're booing ferociously, we know something sucks. We feed off that shit because the live crowd knows better than anybody what the atmosphere is because they're inside of that atmosphere. I always say the live crowd, it's contagious to the crowd watching at home. So when they go to those big cities and when they're in front of a smart crowd, you got fans like myself. However, when they're at just live events, which there's a lot more smaller towns than there are these big cities. There's a lot more live events during the year than these pay-per-views and television shows. And when they are there, I promise you, Roman Reigns' merchandise is number one. How do we know that? Again, Forbes just came out with the report. Quarter number 2, 2018, there is a new merchandise leader, and he is Roman Reigns. He topped John Cena. But even if you look at the former number one guy, it was John Cena, another guy, who Vince's narrative was just to push John Cena whether he gets booed or cheered, because Vince McMahon knew he was the one making the most money. So it's a different crowd. And you say again, what I thought all along, he's making the most money because you're giving him the most items. You're pushing him the most. But you look at AJ Styles, he had the most, up until July anyway, 55 items. They pushed him as the main guy on SmackDown. Again, on the pay-per-views, if it's a Roman match and an AJ match, Roman would get the last spot, but that's not enough to get Roman the number one spot in merchandise. You would still think it's AJ because we cheer AJ Styles so vividly. We say he's the best in the world. And there are so many kids and women that love AJ Styles as well. But it's Roman who gets the most merchandise. When they did the research and the surveys at live events and they ask all the fans, who are you here to say? The majority always said Roman Reigns. I can always put my ego aside and say I was wrong. That doesn't mean I don't one day want to see him turn heel. I wish this whole Shield reunion, we'll find out Monday. Maybe nobody turns heel. Some people are saying it's Braun that's turning heel and he'll join with McIntyre and Dolph. Some people are saying it's the Shield that's going to be heel. I think, knowing Vince, nobody's gonna. Vince is just going to be like, let's put them all out there, and whoever they cheer, they cheer. Vince no longer likes good guy versus bad guy. It's bullshit. The simplistic of pro wrestling is dying. Because what makes pro wrestling awesome is good guy versus bad guy, superhero versus fucking villain, and sometimes they switch spots. Now Vince is like, put them out there, whoever they cheer for, they're going to cheer for anyway. I think Vince never got over. Vince McMahon is traumatized by what happened with Stone Cold. And what happened with fucking, who the fuck was it? With Punk, and just how fast people can just turn. John Cena, he was trying to push him and nobody was buying into it. But all of a sudden he goes to fucking number one on the merchandise and he never relinquished it. So Vince McMahon's traumatized by not figuring out what the fuck is working and what's not. He's trying to push a superstar, but instead they're getting booed. He doesn't want to push a superstar, they're getting cheered. But I think the whole Stone Cold thing really traumatized him. And then the CM Punk thing, he cuts a promo in Las Vegas, and the next thing you know, he's the hottest thing in wrestling, all because of one fucking promo. And I think these type of things traumatized Vince. So now he just throws everyone out there. He doesn't want to push Rusev, but everyone's chanting Rusev Day. It's like, fuck, no. So he goes out there and he has Rusev job. And they still continue to chant. So he's like, all right, I'll use him in a fucking main event, but I'll use him to get somebody over. And he makes Rusev lose in main events. And so Vince is always constantly fighting the fans. I hate that shit. And I hate the fact that he doesn't like good guy versus bad guy anymore. I hate the fact that he won't even... What's the best word I want? I can't think of the exact word that I want. He won't even entertain the idea. How's that? It's not the word that I wanted, but he won't even entertain the idea to turn Roman Reigns heel. I hate that. I really do. Because even though business is great, I personally feel business can be even better. But it doesn't matter what I think because Vince is making ultimate cash right now. He's making the most money he's ever made in his life running this business. So who the fuck am I to say how he should do business better? I have my personal beliefs, but he's kicking ass. Roman Reigns is kicking ass right now. He is the number one guy in WWE when it comes to making money. We can sit here like I just said and say, yeah, but, and yeah, but, and yeah, but, yeah, but. You could have somebody else that you're pushing and maybe they're going to make more money. Yeah, but it's because he's in the last match on the pay-per-views. And that makes kids and women really see that, oh wow, he is the most special guy. There's a lot of yeah buts you can give me, but it's all yapper until I see facts. AJ Styles should be number one, according to our yeah buts. But he's not. He had more items than Roman Reigns for the most part of this whole year. Now, yes, we know how he was marketed. Roman Reigns was marketed as the top guy. If you put Raw and SmackDown together, Roman was marketed as the top guy over somebody like AJ Styles. I understand that. But what we're saying is, if what we're saying is true, the smart fan and the smarks and the diehards like myself, and that the majority of us are not buying into the Roman shit, and we want to see the guys like AJ Styles, if that's true and we're speaking for the majority, then we would have literally made everyone see through the bullshit and AJ would have been the top merchandise seller. I hope you guys are keeping track. But that's not the case. So who are we to say how Vince runs his fucking business? We always say, oh, well, and it's mind-boggling to me because this is where pro wrestling fans try to be smarter than they fucking ever will be. And they try to tell people like me that I'm being played like a puppet when I enjoy what I just witnessed. Because it's one thing, and what I hate is when people actually tried to put Roman over and it failed completely and that put them in a bad light, like The Rock. And it's not entertaining. They spent all this time just trying to get Roman over to the smart fan, to the diehard fan, and in the process, they just killed any momentum that a storyline had, or they killed any momentum that a superstar had. If you got to get the guy over at the expense of others in a really, truly over-the-top negative way that even they can't rebound from, or get him over in a way where the storyline completely sucks, but it was all done just to try to get Roman Reigns into that light, if you got to do that, I'm completely against it. But when you can give me entertaining shit, and I'm entertained, and I love what I just watched, I'll tell you, you did a fucking fantastic job. And that's what I've been telling you about Roman lately. A couple of weeks ago with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar leading into SummerSlam, I thought that was an ultimate badass segment. I liked it a lot. The fucking mace by Paul Heyman. Roman selling that fucking F5, damn fucking good, selling the eyes fucking injury with the mace. Brock Lesnar coming out, beating the shit out of Roman, leaving the ring, coming back. I felt all three of those guys, Paul, Roman, and Brock Lesnar, kicked ass in that segment. Their SummerSlam match, they did it in a way where they weren't going off the air in Brooklyn for SummerSlam. Roman gets the championship, and it did not go off the air to a chorus of boos. Because everyone was intrigued. What's going to happen? Wow, that was fast pace. That was boom for boom. Braun's on the outside getting fucked up. Is Braun going to get up? Is he going to cash in? There was some intrigue. None of it happened. It was the ultimate tease. It was an ultimate fuck you to Brooklyn, I feel. But they did it in a way where Brooklyn didn't boo when it went off the air, did they? Maybe after it went off the air. And then Monday, Roman Reigns joins forces with Dean and Seth to reignite the Shield once again. And I thought that was fucking amazing. A, because I love the Shield as a faction because I think they're a chaotic, badass group. And two, they took a fucking giant, literally a fucking giant, and they hoisted him in the air and they had him crash through a fucking table. They smashed this giant through a table. That's awesome. That's entertaining to me. The Simpsons aren't entertaining to me. Breaking Bad was never entertaining to me. Friends isn't entertaining to me. WWE, when done correctly, is entertaining to me. So what's my point? My point is this. As much as I hate how they pushed Roman Reigns to me, the smart fan, the diehard fan, because now I've learned there's so many more of the Roman Empire, if you will. There's so many more of the casuals that love this guy than there are of us. And they love the way Roman's been being pushed this whole time. So I will no longer speak for the masses when it comes to Roman Reigns. I can just speak for myself, and I did not like the way they were trying to put him over. But I will be the first to admit when something is entertaining. And Roman Reigns is in some damn good entertaining shit. His feud with Braun Strowman was one of my favorites in the last 10 to 15 years. Braun and Roman work great together, and I love the story that they told together. When they were having their multi-month feud, and the matches they had were dynamite, physical as fuck and violent as fuck. And Roman Reigns lately has been an entertaining segments. I'll be the first to admit that. Which brings me back to my original point when you have the fans that try to be smart, that try to tell the Amplified man, I'm being played like a puppet. What are you talking about? I watched a pro wrestling show and I saw an entertaining as fuck segment. I felt it was. If you didn't feel it was entertaining, that's your prerogative. Who are you to tell me what I can be entertained by? These idiots let their hatred for a pro wrestler, their hatred for Roman Reigns get in their way of their love for pro wrestling. They hate Roman. There's actually, and I'm not just talking, I'm talking grown men, hate Roman Reigns to the point where even when he does something that's good, when Creative and Vince and Roman get together and they create something that's entertaining, they won't even give the devil his due. They won't give any credit to Roman. They won't give any credit to WWE. Instead, if you enjoyed what you watched, you're a puppet and you're being played. Vince McMahon is forcing his marketing and his narrative on you. Or another word is his agenda. What the fuck do you expect? If Vince knows this guy is making him boatloads of money, and he knows who the real majority is, it's not us diehards, it's the fucking Roman Empire over there. It's the casual fans that are going to bring him in the most money. If he knows that, and he knows this by the numbers, and Forbes just proved it, if Vince knows that, then of course he's going to market somebody leaps and bounds above others. Of course he's going to push that narrative. But all I've ever asked for is do it in a fun way that's going to entertain me. For the last several years, I didn't feel I was entertained by any of it. I just felt it was a forced narrative. But never once did I hate the guy. I always came in front of these videos, in front of this camera, and told you guys, I just feel it should be being done differently this way. I feel that I did not like this segment because of XYZ. I never hated the guy. So now that he's doing some fun shit and the Shield's back together and they're taking this giant and sending him through a fucking table and that's entertaining and Raw goes off the air in finally a good way. And you have the people that hate Roman Reigns going, anyone that like that, you're being played by Vince. How are we being played? Because they finally took the time to give us something entertaining? Creative finally got creative, got fucking fun. Vince McMahon and Roman Reigns did something that was actually fucking entertaining. That's being... So I'm supposed to sit here to fit your narrative. The Roman haters. The grown men that literally hate this guy. I'm supposed to sit here and fit your narrative. So now when I see Roman Reigns in anything that's good, I can't say that it was good. I have to instead come in front of this camera and go, that was just to push Vince's narrative. Everybody don't be fooled. We already know what it is. I've told my people on this channel this from day number one. We all know what Vince's narrative is, who he's going to market, what his agenda is. We all know it's Roman Reigns. That doesn't mean you can't be entertained by the guy. That doesn't mean you can't be entertained by the Shield. That's why I love me. This is going to sound egotistical. That's why I love me in this channel, man. I'm always going to call it down the middle. I have my beliefs. I see how things maybe should be going. I see how things maybe is what I think is how they should be going. And some things I just know how they should be going. And I'll tell you guys. But I'll also call out the bullshit. I'll call out the fucking great shit. I'll always call it down the middle. Unless your name is Josh Matthews, there's no fucking hate or shade ever being thrown at somebody for unjust reasons. I agree with anyone that doesn't like this Roman Reigns narrative. I agree with you guys. I'm not on board. It was pushed too much, too many of the times. I hear you. But for you to say that certain things, especially the last 2 weeks, were not entertaining with Roman Reigns, that's some really weird shit, man. That is a weird infatuation with the hatred you have for this guy. And again, a lot of these people are grown men. Is it because he has the kids and the women that really love him? Does that do something to your inner self? Does it make you feel insufficient to Roman Reigns? Does it make you look up to Roman Reigns and be, man, if I could only be half the guy he is, and maybe that's why you hate him so much? I don't know. I don't know. But what I know is there is a huge... Guys, this isn't... Everyone always says, oh, this is a shot to somebody. This is somebody in specific that BC's talking to. No, it's not. I'm telling you, in running this channel, there is a shitload of people that have this way of thinking that whenever Roman does anything that's entertaining and that people really loved, even the people like me, diehard fans that sit back and go, wow, that was actually cool. Whenever we do that, we're the puppets. We have to stay silent. We have to fucking make sure that Vince knows that even when something great happens with Roman, we gotta let him know. No, it's unacceptable. I'm not gonna fit your mold. I'm not gonna fit your narrative, your agenda. I'm gonna call the Roman Reigns bullshit out every time I think it is. Absolutely. I know the narrative. Nobody's playing BC like a puppet. What happened was Vince Creative and Roman went out there. They did something fucking really cool these last 2 weeks. Just what it is. The Brock, Paul Heyman, and Roman segment, I digged. I loved it. This past Monday, a reunition of the Shield and taking Braun Strowman through the table, I loved it. And these Roman haters now, you're all being played. Vince McMahon has got you right where he wants you. Where? Where's right where I want to be entertained, and he entertained me. If that's a puppet, keep playing me. Play me. I'll be the ultimate ventriloquist, man. I'll be the little fucking dog. To fucking move your fucking mouth, and my mouth will move. I'll be the fucking ultimate puppet. I'll be like a Bailey buddy. If being played like a puppet is giving me entertaining shit, then play my ass. I'm all in. Not with Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, but I'm all in with being played like a puppet according to your standards. Your definition of being played like a puppet. That's taking fucking words that I use on this channel, by the way. Played like a puppet is what I always say. So now my own fucking people that obviously hate Roman Reigns, now I want to say people like me are being played like a puppet because I was entertained. Motherfucker, when Raw went off the air, I was entertained. I was in a good mood after spending 3 hours watching a wrestling show and I was entertained. You're the one who was miserable as fuck when Raw went off the air. You're the one who had to go online and try to combat everybody that was excited and fucking entertained by what they just watched. You're the one spreading your misery and negativity. You're the miserable fuck, and misery loves company. You are never going to hear me say something was not entertaining when it was downright entertaining. A Shield reunion and putting a giant through a table is entertaining as fuck. If it's not for you, then that's you. Congrats for your own stipulations for what is entertaining to you. What's grounds for entertaining to you is different than other people, evidently. But if you just didn't like it because it involved Roman Reigns, you are one fucking delusional fuck. You are gonna hate everything this guy is in because of Vince's narrative. But you'll still keep watching. It makes me think, who's really being played like a puppet? Who is Vince McMahon really playing here? Is it the one that was entertained Monday? Or is it the one miserable as fuck? Who's going to tune in the next Monday anyway and keep tuning in until they get what they want. And they won't stop tuning in until they get what they want. Who's Vince really playing like a puppet? The fuck out of here. The Amplified, man. We're going to cash the fuck out. I hope you guys enjoyed this impromptu video, but it's a congratulations to Roman Reigns, man. Nobody could take John Cena off that pedestal. It took John Cena literally leaving for this whole year, basically, right? A little bit of WrestleMania build. You had him at the greatest Royal Rumble ever, but that was really it. He's pretty much been just filming his movies. So it took him going away for somebody to finally overtake him, but Roman Reigns is now your number one merchandise seller. We knew that was coming. It was any week, any month now, right? But the Roman Empire, whether we like it or not, okay, I gotta say this, whether we like it or not, the Roman Empire is stronger than it has ever been. And it's only getting stronger. And we ain't gonna fucking hate. We're gonna see what this thing, if they give me entertaining shit, whatever. I'll still stick to my guns. I still want Roman Reigns to turn heel ASAP. But if they're gonna give me entertaining shit, I'll dig it, man. That's all I ask for. Give me entertainment. When I watch 3 hours of Raw, when I watch 2 hours of SmackDown, my number one thing, entertain me. Why am I watching this? Why should I give a fuck? Should I be on the edge of my seat? Is my pulse going? Is my heartbeat going? Am I fucking excited for what I'm watching? Entertain me. That's all I ask for. Amplified, man. I'll see you guys Tuesday for Monday Night Raw's review reaction, and maybe, who knows, there'll be an impromptu video this weekend. You never know. Amplified, man, for now. Check you later.